From the Oklahoman Newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Kyle Fredrickson. Kyle, special teams obviously have been an ongoing strength for Oklahoma State under Mike Gundy, and yet they continue to have some success in the special teams with a grad assistant. For the second time consecutively, they went from Ty Linder to Robbie Disher, who's now starting his second year as the special teams coordinator, but is only a GA. But this has worked out fairly well for the Cowboys.
Right. OSU coach Mike Gundy has earned a reputation as a guy who's able to surround himself with the right assistants. And even when we're talking about GAs, I think that is another point where it's a strong suit for Gundy and this staff. Robbie Disher was a guy who played small college football at William Jewell College in Liberty, Missouri. The way he put it, he was basically just an above-average high school player who wanted to continue playing. So, there's a guy who loves the game and has carried that with him ever since. Before arriving at OSU, he was the special teams coordinator at a FCS school, Sam Houston State, that had made some trips to the national championship game, was very successful. So when he applied for this job, Mike Gundy said, come on down, but the problem was Disher went from being a full-time staffer with a full-time salary and benefits to being a GA, and
Wow.
He said that his salary was cut considerably. But when you think about his path in the coaching world and if he wants to one day become a head coach, it was a step that he needed to make, and so far he's done very well at it. Last year, footballscoop.com named him the special teams coordinator of the year, and when you consider how many true freshmen were on those kickoff coverage units and return units, the way that Ben Grogan really turned his season around and became a model of consistency for most of the year. We all know what happened in Bedlam with the special teams play that really changed OSU's momentum for the entire season. There's a lot of reasons to look at this guy. He's 29 years old and think he's probably going to be a future assistant coach at some point down the road.
Well, you mentioned those units, and I think it's worth talking about what about this season, because the known commodity is Ben Grogan. He's back to kick off. But Kip Smith is gone, so who punts and who returns punts and kicks? Because Tyreek Hill, obviously such a spark plug in the special teams last year, gone from the team. What do we know about who's next in some of those spots?
Well, for punter right now, there's really one guy who's led the charge, and that's Zach Steiner. He's a redshirt freshman. Gundy said after practice a few days ago that they need to test him in some pressure situations, just being that he's never seen the field before. But from what they can tell so far, he's done a good job, especially with his directional punting, being able to place the ball where he wants it to go, and that's a skill that a lot of guys don't have at this level. There was a big knock on Quinn Sharp, as good as he was as a punter, he wasn't able to really locate that ball. So the Cowboys feel like they're set there. In the return game, I think the problem for them right now is just identifying the small number of guys from the large group who would love to return kicks with all the athleticism the Cowboys
so
have.
Everybody's saying me, I want to do this.
Right, exactly. So as of this past week, Gundy said that had been narrowed down to 5 guys. David Glidden, Brandon Shepard, Jalen McCleskey, Jeff Carr, and Brandon Shepard. So a few wide receivers, running back on that list. All guys who are very capable at the position, but the Cowboys have to like the other guys they return. You talk about the guys who had left, but those guys who are on those coverage return units, all those true freshmen, those guys come back and get more experience, which is only going to bolster some of those units. As we've seen, especially in the heart of the Big 12 season, just 1 or 2 special teams plays can really turn the momentum of a game.
Definitely. Thanks, Kyle. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.